Alright guys, I'm just jumping on here real quick to kind of go through some housing stuff. This video is just really simple. I'm just kind of building it for my own Grange project so that we can kind of look through some videos and see some different housing things. So here's some basics I talk about. First of all is going to be having a roof and 3 sides. So this is a really big deal because if you have any kind of wind, you have any kind of draft, those animals can get really cold really fast. Start with a roof on top. You can build that with some plywood and a piece of roofing or whatever you need up there. And these sides can just be pallets, they can just be plywood, they can be whatever you need them to be. It doesn't have to be something super fancy. So where we live, we get snow, so our roof had to tip quite a bit. And if you're going to get any kind of rain, make it tip anyways. And then kind of look at which way the water's going to drain. And so that you're tipping it the right direction so it's not going to pool back into their sleeping area. Also, you want to think about drainage a little bit if it's built on a hill, because sometimes we'd build something not thinking about it on a hill like this, and then the water's coming down into their house, right? And so you'd have to kind of dig some ditch to divert that, or kind of pick an area where the water's already diverted a different direction so it's not coming down right into your area. So this is going to go for sheep and goats and pigs as well, are the main animals that we're talking about right now. Alright, here we go. We've got our little building. We use this one for pigs. It's a little dirty, but you'll go ahead and have a look at it. So for pigs, we put a lot of shavings in here. Notice the automatic water, the panel there to hang the feeder on. We've got good ventilation up high, but we've got walls all the way around to keep it nice and warm. So that's one example. And then we put 2 of them side by side so we can keep the pigs next to each other, but not together. We separate them. Makes them easy to manage. This one, notice the walls come all the way to the ground. This is how it really should be, so the pigs don't have any chance to dig out, okay? Yeah, like I said, these are dirty. They haven't been used in a while, but gives you a good idea of what we're doing with our pigs. A lot of times for that pig pen, we actually put... we dig down in that dirt and loosen it up like at least a foot down all across that entire inside pen. And then we mix all that dirt up with shavings. So it's already loose and mixed up. And when the pigs go to dig, they're just moving it around instead of digging a tunnel out. So that helps a lot if you're going to be on dirt. Another option some people do is to run hot wire or shock wire around the outside of their pens. I don't like that inside their house especially. But if you're going to do that in their yard, that's an option as well. As for size, good size is about 10 by 10. Some people do like 8 by 10 or 8 by 8. We even done 4 by 4 in our houses, but that's going to get dirty a lot faster. So go ahead and build by 4 by 4 if you want, but you have to have a run off that sheep and goat pen, because if you don't have a run, they're trapped in there all day long and they're not getting any movement or exercise, anything like that. I like concrete as an indoor surface for pigs. Not woods. Try concrete if you're going to do that instead of dirt. And then put some shavings down or some mats. And then let them get off the concrete during the day on their run. Maybe just onto dirt. And that's where you could have your shock wire if you're going to have that outside. And then you won't need anything inside if you have concrete. Because, of course, they can't dig out. Also, think about the shade for white pigs. The white pigs need to be completely out of the sun. If they see sun, they're going to get tanned, they're going to get sunburned, and that's going to be a huge deal in the show ring for you. So you want to keep them as white as absolutely possible. So here's a yard example that might be good. These are panels, so about 2 16-foot panels is all you need, but it's even better if you have, 3 or 4 to make it long like this. Honestly, 2's enough. Put them about 8 feet apart. These are 16-foot panels. Make them, put a gate on the end, and your animals have room. And then you're also going to get them out and exercise them. So if you want to put them a little closer together, it's also an option. Some people put their panels about 4 feet apart, and then put that water bottle on the end. So that's what this might look like. Alright, let's talk about pig waters. So pig waters are a big concern. If you're using like water buckets like this for sheep and goats, they are not going to work for pigs because the pigs are just going to flip them right over. Same thing with pans like this. If you're trying to go cheap and you're just getting a bucket or a pan, this is a really bad idea. You want to make sure that you have something that the pigs cannot flip over and waste their food or water. You want them to have something different. So this is a really good water. This is a Lixit that fills this little bowl here, and they can drink out of it, and they can push on the Lixit and fill it up. This is a really good one. This is the one you'll see most. It just hooks to a hose or to a pipe. We like to hook it to a pipe. The pig just push down and the water comes out. So they can get water really good. And you just have to make sure 100% that your pig knows how to use it. So we like to put peanut butter on them to kind of help them teach. And then make sure that you insulate your pipes. So this shows the pipe on the back side of our building. And make sure the height is right so the pigs can reach it when they're little and it's not too low as they grow. So that's kind of what we use for the waters. For food, I like these hanging feeders a lot. This is the best feeder I've ever found because this is called a Hulk feeder because it is hanging, and it also has a chain on the bottom that hooks to the panel. So when the pigs lift the feeder, it doesn't allow them to lift it high enough to flip over their feed and waste. So it saves you a lot. It's also hard, so it can't be broken as easily. So that's a really good option. Alright, let's do some quick review. You need a roof, sides, walls, a reliable way to keep the pigs warm. You need shade, an outside run for the pigs to get up and move, maybe a stall mat, concrete, proper feeders, Lixit, and that's about it. Now let's look at sheep and goats. All right, so if you've got those three sides and a roof, you've got some good ground. So for you having any kind of rain, again, I'd say even if you think the water is going to divert really well, build kind of a platform. Sometimes all you need is 2 pallets and a piece of plywood over the top of that, or something like that just kind of lifts it so the water can run underneath and the animal can get up out of the rain. Some of those stall mats, those rubber stall mats, are really good, especially flip them over with some tension so their feet don't slip, and then pack that with some shavings or straw, and then you probably will need to clean it pretty regularly. We would put our animals in their 4x4 area, give them a little ramp down, we'd give them a run with some steer panels, and at the very end of the pen is where we put their water bucket, so they kind of have to go out and move around, stretch their legs every day. And then also we would take them out and exercise them as well, especially with our just working with them, walking them, training them, bracing them, all that as well. We like to be 4x8. That's what this is, with a ramp. We put stall mats in. We feed them from the back, so it makes it super convenient. And they have this space in here. We put a panel between the sheep so that nobody eats together. They're all separate. That is super important, that we know what all animals are eating at all times. Now the sheep and goat run is going to be really similar to the pigs. We just need a fenced in area where they can get out and stretch and play. We build ours right onto their homes. The panels just come right off their little building so they can get out and move around. It should be taller panels for these sheep and goats, and again, like 16 feet long. Steer panels work great. Catch wing panel like this, you can put your animal into a corner, is really important to keep them from running around, make catching them easier, make it more likely to work with them more often. These water buckets are great. You should use the same bucket as you get closer to fair. Introduce the bucket you're going to use at the show so they get really used to it. The color of the bucket can sometimes be a concern. Some animals won't drink out of dark buckets where they can't see the bottom, so try that out. And then your animals are going to drink way more water if they're used to the taste, so you can bring your own water from home to the fair so they're used to the water and they'll drink more, because water is actually a huge factor in show ring success, way more than people think about, in terms of like muscle hydration and all that. So think about that. If your animals will eat it, also soak their feed, their grain, in water on show day and up to the show to get them used to that beforehand, so that you can do that and just keep them super hydrated. This is the best feeder for sheep and goats, I think. Something you can hang, just a simple grain feeder that's easy to lift out of the reach of the animals, keep feces and things out of it. It's easy to hang on things as you're moving around. And you also need a container like this to weigh your feed and know exactly how much it holds. This holds a pound, and that way you always know exactly how much you're feeding your animal, and knowing that is a game changer with your show animals, so that you can adjust it if needed, but also just knowing that is a huge factor. A critical feeding tip for you guys as well, just so you guys have it, is to have a scale and weigh your animals. This is really important. We do this weekly at the very least. We try to do it every 4 days. So if you can do that, that's a game changer. It is the way to improve or make the most of an animal. So if you want to win at the fair, think about that. Think about having that. It's the easiest way to make a good animal beat a better one and to get to the top. So if you want to win on a budget, it will improve so much. And let's go over a quick review. You need a building with 3 sides and a roof with good drainage. You should have a raised floor for sheep and goats. You want a catch pen, a water bucket, feeders, a container that holds a pound of feed for your pigs too. You want a scale and a 16-foot run for them to exercise in, and all that. And there you go. That's sheep, goats, and pigs. All some basics of housing. Obviously, there's more to it, more tools, things we're going to have to buy. But to bring your animal home, that's what you guys need.